chime in as well.
Please,
Yes.
absolutely, discussion here.
Yes.
So let's just real quick name and how many times you've been to family reunion.
Brittany, I did the digital experience first in COVID. I'm not sure what year that was. First time in person was this year.
Yeah.
I tried to go back, but I think this was my seventh.
Seventh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Seventh.
Justin?
This was my third.
Third. And Lisa? First. Fantastic. So a little bit of perspective from everybody. So I guess let's start with you, poor thing, with your little voice. What? Because you did the digital experience a few years ago. What made you decide to actually go in person this year?
I mean, it was in our own backyard. Doesn't get any easier than that. You didn't have to fly anywhere. Didn't have to, go through all of that. And having a couple awesome roommates really made it a lot.
That's right. You said 7 times. That is a lot of commitment to family reunion. What makes you keep going back?
You're what's the old saying? I'm probably gonna mess it up. That you're not never the same person in the river twice, right? So every single time I've ever gone, I've gotten something like, and it's been worth it. So it's like you're a different person. You've had different experiences, things that you've done help you formulate what you're going to get and proceed. And the other thing is like when you make that effort and that investment in yourself, you're going there to get something. So like you're pulling those nuggets. So yes, it's like I'm different every time I go, and even though maybe some of the messages may be similar, and I think that's the big thing I want to share. Is like even though like, you might go to bowl or you might go to a family reunion, the messages may be similar as to what you've heard before, but you are different every single time. So.
And the market's different.
Yeah, well, that's
the first time I went now it's completely changed.
Yes.
Justin, 3 times?
Yes.
Okay. Why'd you choose to go this year? What keeps you going back? And are you going next year?
Yeah, I completely agree with both of them. I mean, it was right here. That eliminated a lot of hassle. But I agree with you. I mean, every time you read a book, you do something wherever you are in your life and what you're going to do, it hits different, right? And so I think it's also overwhelming. There's so much stuff. There's so many sessions that for the first time I went, I was trying to soak it all in, which was a horrible plan. And then I started reining in between family reunion and mega camp, going with a purpose of where I'm at in my business today, right? Where I'm at in my business today, I go and I attack those things. And you have the people that are doing this at a ridiculously high level across the country going, here's my blueprint, go take it back to your house and do the things. So it just, every year that I've gone, I've had my best years financially. And so that's why I keep going back. Sorry.
Their investment's making a return.
Yeah, the investment's been ridiculous. And that stands true for this year already so far as well.
And just a side note on that one, just so you guys know, we had multiple agents from our market center on panels and on stage at family reunions. You guys have access to some of these people that the rest of the country is paying lots of money to talk to within this market center. So Sarah did several, the Bonds team did at least one.
And to your point, and to Thea's point, remember that you're running a business. Like, we're not doing transactions, we're running a business. And so if you're not investing into your business, you're really setting yourself up for failure. And Gary Vee, and we're going to talk about it, I'm sure, but Gary Vee, who was on stage, said, if you're having trouble in your business and the first place you look isn't the mirror, that's where you should start. Like, that's your first problem. So anyway,
I shouldn't let him go before you, Lisa. Sorry. Sorry. So this is your first time going to family reunion. What made you decide that was the time to go, and are you going to go back next year?
Because it was close by, number one. Well, at first, number one. Obviously, I knew there was a lot of stuff I would be able to learn while I was there, and I need to always learn. We can't stop learning ever. And that's one of my things down here. And to meet people, meet other agents. It's good to meet other agents, even because they were from all over the world, and you could get referrals and stuff. I didn't meet as many as I would like to, but also bonding with the people in the market center. It's great to do that. We're a team, and we can help each other. And I loved doing that. That was, I'll talk about that later, but yeah. Yeah.
No, but the networking aspect of it, there's
Networking,
people that
that's
go
exactly
to
what
family reunions to be very,
Oh, yeah.
very specifically intentional about making connections in states that they're not licensed in for referral business.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, I don't gotta do the transaction, I can still get paid. Cool.
And if,
Yeah.
Via referral.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
and if you listen to MREA podcast, the lady on there from Colorado, literally they do, I think they said 30 million a year in business, and a third of their business comes from referrals. So $10 million in business comes from referrals of going to, and they're very purposeful when they go to these events to target who they're looking for and where they're trying to grow their business.
Y'all, if you haven't been, some of it's kind of ridiculous. People walking around with like their blinky QR codes on their backpack, like their signs above their head. Somebody was trying to get me to get licensed in Florida. It's a lot. Lisa, let's start back down with you. Who was your favorite speaker?
Jay Shetty.
Wow.
He's inspirational. Obviously, they all are. I liked one of the things that he did for it that he kind of said. And here's the thing I want to say real fast. When y'all talked about going again and how you can learn something different. It's interesting because I'm not a very good note taker, just for the record. And so when we have kind of talked about some stuff that they got, I'm like, we were sitting in the same thing and I didn't even hear that. So it would be good to go back. So yes, I will go back because I feel like I'll learn more stuff, and it was just super fun. Anyway, he talked about he's encouraging, but he talks about being thankful, having insight, and I'll talk about that later, being mindful, exercise, and sleep. So my point is that I just liked that he was very inspirational just for life in general. Like, I don't know if I'm saying that very well, but it was just, just to remind yourself to be thankful and then to have insight, learn something new every day. I got that later, but anyway.
Yeah, I think a lot of sometimes we go to like the breakouts and they're so very specific on like a task that we're doing or a system that we're replacing, where this is more of a like, let me assess my whole life kind of situation. Yeah. He was a lot.
Because that leads to doing better in your business and all that. Yeah.
But he's the reason I work here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he did that time energy. And part of his book was like, how much time do you have left in your world? And I was driving an hour each way to work. And I was like, too much time. Not committed to that. No, I know personally. Yeah, Derek. Justin, I already know who your favorite is, but you can go ahead and tell me.
Yeah, so I mean, from the big stage, it was Gary Vee, like hands down. I mean, and I think a lot of it, I've heard Gary Vee speak, and I've read, I think, all of his books, but this was a different twist, right? Because he made it real estate specific without making it real estate specific, if that makes sense. Like, so it was very targeting the real estate industry without making it specifically real estate. And so he was talking about like interest media. We're in an interest media, not social media right now, right? It's all about gaining people's interest, not just being social. And social media, these are a few things that I wrote down. Social media doesn't work because you're not good at it. Like, people keep saying, social media doesn't work for me. Well, it doesn't work because you're not good at it. Like, we don't practice it. We don't do the things we're not good at it. And by the way, it's free. Like, no other way can you go out and freely market yourself. We've all become really good at excuses. Like, we're really good at that about why it doesn't work, why it's not this, why it's not that. We need to be creating content. According to him, 51% of our day should be creating content. Because the idea being, if you're creating the content and you're getting in front of people and you're creating those stories, then you are gaining the attention of the people that are going to do business. And then you can leverage other things that need to be leveraged.
Can I add something on that?
Please.
Because I thought it was really clever. He's like, be on all these 8 platforms and do all these like all this time, but also he snuck in there like, just use the same stuff and tweak it a little bit for each one. You're not recreating every time you go in there. You're just, putting one thing together and then customizing it to each platform.
And one of the things he said was like, hey, we got everybody to raise their hand. Like, how many people are posting once a week? How many people are posting 3 times a week? And how many people are posting daily? And then he cut to, well, yesterday he posted 374 pieces of content across all of the platforms in one day. Now, He also has a 20+ person social media team, and that's not the expectation I think that we would put on ourselves. But the idea being, you need to be in front of people at all times. I had this conversation a couple of days ago. I worked in radio and sports before I got into this business, and we watch people on TV, we see people, we hear people on the radio, we feel like we know them, right? I mean, we would have people that would come up to these guys and want to hold their children because they felt like they knew them. And that's what we're trying to create when it comes to our social media platforms, when it comes to whatever. It's not about going viral, it's not about whatever, it's about connecting with people and putting enough content out there that people feel like they know you. And so when you get a call, it's a warm call, it's not a cold call. You're not cold calling people, people are reaching out to you because you've created this connection with them. And so I don't know, and he's just very in your face and very like no excuses and no nonsense. And I'm good.
Understatement.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm good with that.
Thea, who was your favorite speaker?
So I want to tag on to that, but then I also have something else. So to tag on to that, and he is very bold, and he is has some
Brash.
flowery language,
Right.
and he is 100% authentic. And one of the things, and maybe you guys can tell me what you felt. What I think he went into that meeting, like when he started talking, trying to be a little reserved.
Mhm.
And quite frankly, it wasn't until he really became his authentic self and talked the way he normally talks that that's when he became the person I went to watch. Okay. Did you feel that?
Yeah.
Did you feel that? Like I felt a shift
Yeah.
because I think he was trying to hold back a little bit, because he didn't want to fit. Then he went into, I'm going to be my authentic self and I'm going to show up as my authentic self everywhere because guess what? My target audience, if they're offended by what I have to say, that's not my audience.
Right.
So that is part of it. We want to, if we're going to be in the social media, which it sounds like that's what we need to do, to reach folks, be your authentic self, be your authentic self and put it out there. Now, I'm going to kind of tag team or go into that. I actually also went to the CEO Summit, which I paid a little extra for because I went to Mega Camp last year and got a lot out of the CEO Summit. So I paid extra to be there. We're local, didn't have to buy a plane ticket, but I'm the best at money back into this, And the lady, Jenny Wood, wrote a book called Wild Courage. And she's a big guru exec and all that kind of stuff. And the Wild Courage is go after what you want and get it. Well, one of the things that's really interesting, you see my little red stuff I have on here. I literally was in Walmart the night before going to Friday at family reunion. And I walked down the aisle and I saw this red outfit with the red shoes and everything. I said, you know what? I'm buying that right now. I mean, this was like literally 8 o'clock on Thursday before I'm going to go to, I'm buying that. And it was just like something came over me and I'm like, I'm buying that. And I wore it to this CEO Summit thing. And one of her slides was the red shoe effect. Literally red shoe effect. So if you go look at red shoe effect, and she's talking about the red shoe effect. And, part of what I did was, I'm going to be in a room with a bunch of people all over the world that red and black and all that. That's a statement, right? I'm like, I want to be that person that people are going to look at and say, hey, this is interesting. This is cool. She's doing something different. And that was kind of one of her things in this Wild Courage book that she talks about is when if this is a part of your authentic self, which me, I'm pretty out there. Go for it. Go put it out there. And there is a confidence. There is something that is relayed in that. And so she talks a little bit about that. So it's weird because I'm literally sitting in the audience and she puts red shoe effect on the book. I'm like, okay, here we go. So anyway, it felt. We talked a little bit about being seen and heard and and all that kind of stuff. So it felt a little bit validating, that I am trying to be my authentic self. So sometimes this whole social media thing and that, it's easy to get in your head and that whole mindset thing and everything. So it just felt good to like, there's a validation there. So anyway, that was my little 2 cents there.
Okay, who was that?
Judy Wood, the book is called Wild Courage. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get to go to see it. so.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. Who is your favorite speaker? Was your favorite speaker?
I mean, Jay and Gary were absolutely amazing. But I'm gonna jump to the breakout. That was my favorite. Phil Jones. I don't know if anybody has seen this book before, exactly what to say. This was probably my favorite breakout. I took 4 pages of notes. I got video. The girl behind me was videoing too. She got some stuff I didn't. I'm like, hey, here's my business card. Please email me that, text me that, whatever. So I'm gonna sit down and go through all of that again because I have not had time due to a wedding.
Her sister got married.
Sister got married the other day. But Phil Jones was probably my favorite, and his breakout was turn new leaf into warm conversations that set appointments. Pretty much everyone is a lead. When we think of leads, we look at like a 30, 60, 90-day cycle. Get that out of your mind. Everyone is always a lead at all times. It may take them 30, 60, 90 months. It doesn't mean that they're not a good lead. So many incredible nuggets. He had framework of how to ask easy questions that they know the answers to. If you ask an easy question, they're gonna give you an answer. When you start asking them tough questions that they have to think about, that's when you're gonna lose them. They just, anything that they can, give you feedback on. Let's see, tell them your name twice, especially at an open house. When they come in, you always introduce yourself. Guarantee you, they're gonna walk through that house and not remember what your name is. So make sure you tell them your name at least twice. There's a framework, and I'll type this up and put it out on the Facebook page for everyone. But it's pretty much just how to ask them the question. Have an opening, obviously be polite. A fact, a mutually agreeable fact, something about the property that you can both agree on. Ask them easy to answer questions. It also gives you permission, gives them a frame of reference, and you're controlling the conversation at that point. Get a little more context. Ask about the past, the present, the future. What brought them there? Where did they come from? Then follow up. Would it help if? Come from contribution. And then when would be a good time? When would be a good time for me to follow up with you? So ask open-ended questions. Make them easy questions so they're not put on the spot. They don't feel like I've got to come up with something. It's an easy question that they already know the answer to. Goodness. And precise answers come from messy questions. I like that. And meet them where they're at. They're looking to be led. They don't do this every day like we do. They don't know the ins and the outs of the process. A lot of times they don't even know where to start. I see on Facebook all the time, do I need a lender first or a realtor first? They don't know where to start. They're looking for us to guide them through this process. So be that guide. Ask the easy questions so you get the answers back and know how to guide them.
Brittany, I'm just gonna jump in real quick. Like
Yeah,
that was a common theme a lot, was about education, right? We assume that people know
Yes.
what, like, I mean, we assume people know what a 36 touch is. Like that's an assumption that I make for you guys or whatever, right? Like we assume that people know what pre-qualification versus pre-approval is, and coming more from an education piece was a common theme through a lot of the weekend.
Okay, if you haven't read Exactly What to Say, and that was Exactly What to Say for Real Estate, he wrote the book for real estate. It is super easy read, very adaptable. Wouldn't you agree that it is a good idea to read?
It's a very good idea to read.
But that's one of his phrases. Wouldn't you agree that we are just building consensus with people? It's all about just simple communication tools that you can use to talk to people. I will say my favorite session was actually the vision speech. I nerd out on Ruben and the numbers and the economics behind it. Everybody does have access to the vision speech on Connect. So there's slides are in there and you can watch the recording of it. I think that that's super important for everybody to do because it goes back to what Jason was saying when he was here. You have a responsibility to be educated to educate your clients, and that is a nationwide education for what's happening in real estate.
Because so many of our people, and y'all are seeing this, are listening to the news. Right? And so the news is all doom and gloom, the news is whatever. And so being able to talk about real numbers with real things and putting these slides into your presentations is a massive advantage that we have that's at our fingertips.
Yeah, you can pull those slides down from Connect, reuse them however you see fit, but definitely watch the vision speech. Those are some of the 3-4 smartest guys I have ever heard speak on stage all together and correcting each other, and it's hilarious too. Okay. Start back on this end again. Action item. What is it that you're going to take away and implement in your business based upon family reunion?
Really, it kind of goes back to the Phil Jones. I really need to write questions and refine those questions. Easy questions. I feel like I might complicate things a little bit just because we know more than they do. So we're already kind of 10 steps ahead in our head of what we're going to ask. So it's really just writing those easy questions and refining them and practicing them, not on my people, but on other agents and role play partners that I've got. And another thing that I wrote down was whenever you start a text thread with your client, rename that text thread. I don't know if you can do that on Android because I'm an iPhone girl, but you can rename your group text. Name it something that's like powerful, that speaks to your people and what their motivation is. That way, when that group text pops up and y'all are texting back and forth, they see that at the top all the time. And that's apparently
What a simple, clever little action item.
Yeah.
Like, I would recognize that. Yeah. Because Darren has us on a check or we're labeled.
and something so small that
Yeah.
can make such a big impact.
And something not everybody's gonna put the effort in to do.
Right.
Thea, what's your action item takeaway?
So I know right now we're in the world of AI. The sheet on your thing right there, I went to that class, and I would have loved to have sat there for 2 days and implemented everything in front of right there. But just one of the things I want you to be aware of is like AI, whether we like it or not, people are out there searching it. They're out there doing it. I have someone right now in my world, that is like, AI told me to do this, and I mean, it is in our world right now. Okay. So we've got to be willing to, embrace it and work with it and try to figure things out and how to make it work for us, for our clients and that kind of stuff. So, I would definitely, I've already gone into the Google, like number 4 here is the Google Business Optimizer. Like, the big thing is if you're going to be the agent that comes up when somebody asks for like the best real estate agent in Beaufort, Georgia, you have to have a presence out there that says that you are an agent in Beaufort, Georgia, and have done business in Beaufort, Georgia. So any of your marketing, your social media, any of that, you need to have a common presence that can be found, that AI can find it in multiple places and that it is consistent across the board. So any of the stuff that we have out there, so I'm going out there, I'm looking at my realtor.com profile, I'm looking at my GM Term MLS profile, my realtor.com, all the different profiles or Google, all of that, and trying to make sure that it's the same. You want to be able to see that. And then one of the big things was the language of real estate. The language of real estate, meaning we can't be in an acronym world. We are like the CD, the SBD, the CAD. We've got to be in a world that explains. What I think happens a lot of times, even though we think we're being educational, I'm guilty of this. I think I'm being educational, like really taking it back and stripping it down to the depths, because we want to make sure that we're not feeding into somebody's fear to ask those questions. We want to make sure, because like if we're talking up here and that language is over somebody's head who has never ventured into doing a pre-approval or what have you, then we're not going to be the person they're going to want to reach out to, because we're talking up here. So like taking it down, stripping it down to the nuts and bolts and say, okay, like what does somebody really need to know and need to hear? So that was kind of the thing that, yeah.
So I love to do that to my husband. I'll just start talking in real estate acronyms. So we look into the watch. Only when he's in engineering though. Justin, action item.
So I was gonna talk about tech stuff, but then I figured I would split it up. And one of I went to two really great breakouts. One was how to become a mayor of your market, right? So we talk all the time about being the mayor, like your local mayor of your town, owning that town and owning it. And so, talked about identifying that, but a lot of it talked about just interactions with what's going on in your area. Hosting open houses, hosting housewarming parties for your clients, like hosting it at their house and getting to know the neighbors, inviting the neighbors over and, hey, we're having a housewarming party. Small events, micro events, hosting people at your house, making it's okay to be a little bit messy, right? Like the same thing, we all had to pull out our phones with one of the speakers because we're all afraid to get on our cameras. And it was literally all of us holding up our cameras and recording ourselves, giving, a positive, message that she had up on stage. Done beats perfect every time. If your reputation is solid in the community, the referrals will follow. So really getting involved in your local community. The other one was for seventh level, running your business like a seventh level business, running your solo business like a seventh level like team. And this was one of the ones where had I gone to this 2 years ago, it probably wouldn't have been as impactful as where I'm at now. But setting yourself up, setting the foundation, even if you're not there yet, what do you need to do to get there, right? Leverage, figuring out what your hourly rate is, figuring out your systems and checklists, right? Like we're running that class right now for the very reason that we had agents that were, I think Allie was here in that day and she'd been licensed for like 24 hours or something. And then we had up to Teresa Smith who was in here and everywhere in between. And I think Anne probably had the closest thing to systems, but even as we were talking through it, realized the gaps that she has in her systems. And we've kind of talked through as we've gone through this, building your foundation of your system now, if you're new, is easier than having to go back and redo it. Because those of us that have been doing this for a couple of years and are still trying to get back to building their systems out. The idea being, if you want to know if you have a business or a transaction, take your hands off the wheel and see what breaks. Like, can you take a 2 or 3 day vacation and not look at your business and everything still run the way it's supposed to run?
Pretty shaking her head.
Right? I mean, we talked about this and she literally,
I know.
Brittany had a small panic moment because if something were to happen to Brittany, Gail would have no clue what to do with anything.
Gail can't even write contracts.
Right?
We did not say that on camera.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, I did. Hey,
Yeah. Well, listen, and I'm looking at Suzanne and Tina right now too, right? Crystal said the exact same thing the other day. Crystal's like, I have no idea. She's like, I have no clue how to get into contract, how to write a contract, and do whatever. She goes, I know how to find clients, and that's where Susanna comes in. That's where Tina comes in to help build that team up. So I think that that was super impactful for me right now because ultimately, y'all, we don't want to be working contract to contract and just trying to like panic time to time. And this business is super up and down, and the goal is to like level that out. We know we're going to have ups and downs, but not have such high peaks and valleys throughout the process. So those two really, really struck to me. So for me, it's been a whole lot of building on this systems class as far as action items goes, and really diving into what it looks like and realizing just the gaps that you have in your business. And then the second part of that being the mayor is forced me to go get involved in Jefferson things that are going on and having, because people are asking all the time, oh, what's being built over here and what's being built over there? I say out loud, I want to be I don't want somebody to call a roofer. Sorry, roofers. I want people to call me and I will refer them to the roofer. I want to be the real estate guy. And yet if somebody comes and goes, hey, what's being built over there? And I can't answer that question, I've lost credibility. So it's those kinds of things, really getting involved in what's going on and paying attention to city council meetings and really finding, and it doesn't have to be a city. It could be your farm. It could be your database of people. It could be whatever, but finding where you're going to be the mayor and taking it.
Interviews I've done with agents that have been in the business a long time, and I ask them, what would you have done differently from day one? It never fails to be, I'd have put more systems in place and I'd have paid more attention to my database.
Well, our whole MREA is built on systems and models, and yet none of us use them, right? Like we're like, oh, we've got this great, this is literally called the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and this is how you do it. Again, it goes back to what we talked about. We've got all these brilliant people on stage going, here's my blueprint, and all of us go, hey, we'll figure it out. No problem.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, when you've got a solo agent with 2 admins closing $30 million a year, and she's like, and I'm like, nah, it's fine. I'll figure it out. And that's good. Right? It just doesn't pass what we call in my house the say it out loud test. So
And if you guys aren't aware, there's also millionaire real estate agents been around for a long time. They also have rookie real estate agent that came out last year.
yeah.
That's more of a intro to that. If you haven't seen that one, also a really good book,
Yeah, go read it.
specifically
It's a-
around systems.
Yeah, go
Even
read
if
the
you've
book.
been in the business for a while, it's still, don't let rookie fool you. It's still information.
Because I promise you, you're a rookie in your business.
Yep.
Even if you've been doing this for a while, you're a rookie in your business based on all the conversations I'm having every day with people. But go read that book today.
Eye opening, yeah.
And
Okay.
write down your systems.
Y'all, a system is something that is written and repeatable. System is not something you just do over and over again that nobody else can pick up on. That's exactly to her point. Like if you can't hand the book to somebody and go, all right, I'll see you in 2 weeks, you don't have a system.
You have a you.
You have you've got a process, but that's the you process.
Lisa, what is your big action item that you're gonna implement from Family Reunion?
And mine isn't as long as all these, because I made this part simple. The action
I
item,
love simple.
but it's also talking about how Gary Vee did. Well, one of the things is get a new perspective, just in general, you know, but, be yourself. And I know that sounds crazy, but it was like when you were talking about it, when you're being this certain way, you're not being yourself. And part of that is, one of the lead gen classes that I did, which it's, you know, anyway, it talks about I know this sounds crazy, asking AI for a lead gen strategy. And so basically you get your behavioral assessment, like what your personality is and who you are, because we're not going to all, like, this person may do it this way and that's what works for them, but then I might not want to cold call or go knock on doors, you know, that type of thing. So it says the prompt example is based on the attached assessment, meaning your behavioral assessment, provide the lead generation strategy that would be easiest for me based on my behavioral style. So it's super simple. I didn't make that a long, complex thing, but it's just, to me, that's what helps me. It's just, because I tend to want to like, well, this agent did it this way. That's probably how I should do it.
Yep.
Or her social media does this and she does these videos. Maybe I should do that. But instead, what works for you? And that's even with events. If you want to do events, or what do you like to do? You know, or do you play tennis? Well, let's go do something focused on, or, you know.
Absolutely.
So that's my.
There's
one
a woman
aspect.
in the Carolinas. I think she was on one of the podcasts. I don't remember if it was MREA, but she built her entire business around sea turtle nests. She's passionate about sea turtles, and they go out there and they like watch for the turtles to lay their eggs and then like block off around the nest. And she's like, I got lots of time with these people sitting in the dark waiting for a sea turtle to show up. So we
Yeah.
talk about real estate.
And that's
But
back
that's
to
because
the,
she's passionate about
and
it.
that's back to the micro event, macro event. You could do a micro event where it could be like, hey, anybody want to go hiking? You know, or
Yes.
something that you might like to do. That's just a small little thing. Or hey, y'all want to meet for coffee or whatever. So
I have a follow-up question you may not know. Was that the Keller personality assessment, the KPA they were putting in there? Or
Maybe.
I don't know.
Could probably be.
It could be a big day. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. It was that lead gen I went to with that Matthew Teeter or something.
oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, it would probably be-
Tara,
yeah.
Dara and I went to.
Peter. Mhm.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and the other guy.
I'm gonna upload the
Right,
KPA
right,
and see what it
yeah.
says.
Oh, what is that?
And I'll let you know.
It was their thing. So they didn't really say.
I
Then
don't
it would
remember
make it.
the-
Yeah.
I will
Like I
just put
said.
this out there as I do with all AI conversations. Once you put it on AI, you can't take it back off. So
True.
make sure that what you put in there, you're okay with the world knowing.
Well, and if nothing
It's
else,
Xerox.
get your behavioral assessment and figure it out yourself. You might go, oh wow, maybe that'll help. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay. In conclusion, any advice you would give to somebody that's planning to go next year?
If money is what's holding you back, start saving a little bit every month now and buy that early bird ticket. I think the early birds are typically like $800 or $900. It is worth the investment. It really is.
When is it next year?
I don't know that they
Maybe
release
the
the
same
same
time.
date,
It'll-
but it's
Yeah.
In
February.
Houston. It'll be in Houston.
Yeah.
Why not here in New Orleans?
No, it's Houston.
Okay.
Yeah. And find roommates.
Yes.
I mean, I had the best time rooming with Thea and Lisa, and it saved us all a bunch of money.
They
And
really, yeah, it was wonderful.
so, I mean, just and we got to spend time together and build deeper relationships, and it was literally the best time.
It was wonderful, yeah.
I would just add to that, like, block it out on your calendar now,
Yeah.
like she said, make plans to save up for it, because if you wait till January, it seems like a big
Yeah.
thing to plan and do. If you start now, you can just plan for it, and you're looking forward to it.
Right, just $100 a month. Just put it in a little savings account, and then whenever it gets here, you'll already have that money, and you just buy the ticket.
Business investment.
Yes.
Thea, any advice for folks?
Yeah, look at it as an investment, you know, for you took your real estate class, you're doing all these things, right? There's things that you put into place to make sure that you're successful in this business. So if you can be in the room with the top people in this business, like it's amazing, really. I mean, it's pretty amazing. And I'll say the top people in the room, but then also like we went to downtown Atlanta to get to know one another better and understand. And there are definitely things in our world that we're now able to kind of use to help each other out in that world. So like you never know what that kind of a relationship is going to bring to you as well. So going there will help you with that and connect and stuff like that, but also try and create a relationship with people that are going with you, that are experiencing this as well. Like, you know, that's what I'm saying. You're different, you know, every time we're out there. And even the four of us might be in that same room and what we hear is different. What we pick up on, that nugget is different. So to be able to kind of go back and kind of like hash some of that out, sitting there, you know, in our rooms and stuff like that, that's even kind of cool just to kind of be able to do that. So.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. Like, my advice is go. I mean, this is an isolating business. So when you can surround yourself with people and put yourself in rooms with people, whether it's other agents like this or other people that you're learning from, I mean, if we're going to go out and be educators, we should probably be educated. And so, you know, let's maybe go learn from the top people. Let's learn the numbers that are going on, what's actually happening in the business, not what's being told to us in the news, and be the voice of reason. And we do that by investing in ourselves and investing in our businesses to make that piece grow. So, I mean, just go, because to their point, if you're saving money and all of a sudden it's Christmas time and you realize, oh crap, I've got a choice to make, right? We're buying gifts or we're buying family reunion ticket, you know, you're going to easily talk yourself out of one or the other. That's in the reunion ticket. So start now, set it up and move on.
Before I give you last thoughts, I'm going to put one comment I have on this because I've seen it go sideways a little bit. It's great to hang out and have fun with your coworkers, and it wasn't this group. I'm maybe speaking about somebody else that I knew that was there and was dragging into the session on Saturday because they were out till 3 a.m. and you're spending money to be there. Be intentional about being there. You can have fun with people anytime. This is a learning opportunity. You look forward.
And maybe enjoy some wine. Like, just enjoy that.
On the last night.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
There you go.
Lots of boxes.
All right, Lisa, final thought. What advice would you give? You had your first year. This was your first time going. So I know you were like, what do I do? Where do I
It
start?
was
Like,
overwhelming.
mhm.
But I like the advice that we were all given before is to choose one area that you really want to focus on because there's so many different topics. So if you really focus on one area, then it's not quite as overwhelming. I kind of focused more on the event thing. That's what I like to do. So it was really good information of how to fund it, all that kind of stuff. And be present, and do the thing. Like go when we're all gonna like get together at lunch. Let's all go together. Or I mean, not that you have to, but I just because also not just get to know each other better, but also it helps us in other areas of our life be able to be accountable to things. Like you can get somebody that you can be accountable to or talk to. It's like you feel safe. I know that sounds crazy. It has nothing to do with any, but I would say definitely don't just go and when everything's over, go to your hotel and just do nothing. Like be with the people. I mean, if you want to and you're tired, fine, but try to. No, try to do that. But you know,
at home.
experience all of it and get to to know people and be there for also people and interacting and learning.
Dawn, how many agents do we have in our office?
How many do we have in our office?
Yeah.
223.
So out of 223 agents, if you guys look around, how many agents do you see here on a daily basis?
We can't
Okay.
recall today and master.
Well, not today, but you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right? And so on a normal basis, not under construction, how many times have you ever seen 223 different people in this place? But yet we have people that are like, oh, this business isn't for me. This business isn't for me. When you sit at home by yourself, I've told this before. I took the NCTT job because I was sitting in the middle of 10 or 12 acres looking at like all the projects that needed to be done and messing with this and messing with that, and no business was getting done. And then it turns out that if you do the things and you get around people, that will lead to a closing on Friday or various things or whatever, right? So again, just to kind of like what we've all mentioned, I think, which is this is a very isolating business. We do it to ourselves. Get around people. And this is a great opportunity to be around other people that are high achievers, high learners, people that are driven to do this. And you get to develop relationships and stories that if David Williams were here, this is what I was thinking about when you said New Orleans. If David Williams were here, like that was 2019, I think, when we went to New Orleans. Is that right? Like he's still telling stories about that trip, right? So it's just it's a great time to meet people in this office and to help hold you accountable and get out from behind your closed doors at your house and go do business.
And well, we gotta wrap up. 'Cause we're
Yeah,
at
no, I
time.
just was gonna do two quick, simple things that I
Okay.
didn't get to say.
Okay.
That I also had gotten out of it was find one thing a day to help you grow your mind. And the second thing is every morning ask yourself, what can I do today to make today great? I like those and I didn't get to say that.
Those are my last ones. I am gonna add one comment though, and it's for my panel and everybody else. Whenever you go to something like this, I don't care what it is, find something to take action on. Learning for learning's sake is worthless in this industry. You need to take action on something. Lunch.
Not yet.
What-
One more thing.
what-
Go ahead, Thea.
Oh, thank you for
Can I say one last thing? So, I can't remember if it was Jay or it was somebody. Start your day with, what's the one thing I need to do today to make it successful? And then, the other one is, what did I do right today?
And just
Yeah,
celebrate
yeah,
the wins.
And-
that's
Beginning
yeah,
and
I think that was Jay.
Yeah, what did I do
Yes.
right today? So that you're going into the day with a mindset, and then you're coming out of the day, because I'll be honest with you, it is so easy to beat yourself up in this industry throughout the day. It's like you feel like something didn't go the way you wanted it to do, or you started out the day doing this and you're way over here in left field because something pulled you. And you got to ask yourself at the end of the day, like, what did I do right? Because believe me, guys, you've done a lot of things right. It just may not have been what you thought it was going to be.
Turn it off.
We're doing the social media. We're doing a social
Yay.
media moment here. Yeah. Oh,
All right,
you gotta
well, they're
get
doing that.
on there.
I didn't
All
hear
good,
that.
it's all good.
Oh, that's funny.
All good.
So, two QR codes. One is for today's handouts, which are on the table. So if you want to actually go into the drive and get the handouts. The other one is from Mike's Notes. This is, I don't know the best way to explain it. It's just a bunch of different notes for a single session. So especially if you weren't there, take this QR code, take both of them. They're in separate drives. And that way you can actually get different notes from every single session to be able to look at. And they're really good notes. So Abby's going to be putting this on the